this film, I'm not going to address exactly that, but what I am going to say is our government is doing something really very tangible on the ground right now that will totally destroy the Paris Climate Agreement, will blow way past 2 degrees Celsius, and that is, ironically enough for me to be saying this, a conversion from the Obama administration, the Clean Power Plan, to move from coal as a source of electricity generation in our country, not to renewable energy, which would be great, but to gas, to fracked gas. And for those of you who watched Gasland 2, you probably know that fracked gas is actually worse for the climate than coal because so much methane escapes in the process, methane being 86 times more potent a greenhouse gas, a warming agent, than carbon dioxide. So if we actually transition from coal to gas, we're worse off. And this is happening across America as a result. There's the gas industry now. They're chiming in. I probably have a few tweets and hostile text messages to answer. But besides that, what the people who are on our side, right? Obama and John Kerry, they created this climate agreement by putting pressure on foreign nations. And at the same time, we're watching 300 fracked gas power plants being planned for America. And that's thousands of miles of pipelines, compressor stations, liquefied natural gas terminals.
Can we do something about that, guys?
So what we're planning to do with this film, in addition, obviously, to HBO, and by the way, if anyone wants to see the people from Cinetic, there are rights available besides the television rights, like the theatrical, which we would love to do. But we're planning to tour across 100 cities in the United States. And we're going to go to all the hot spots, every place they're fighting a power plant or a pipeline. And these are happening across America, right? And to a lot of our coastal cities that are threatened by sea level rise, to combat the fossil fuel industry on their own turf and try to take this process back. Because we don't need gas. We can go straight to renewable energy. We know that. So we're doing a Kickstarter to promote that tour. It's called the Let Go and Love Tour. There are t-shirts available. But so if you go to Kickstarter page, it's on the homepage. It was launched yesterday. We have a panel discussion tomorrow at 11:30 to discuss exactly how we're going to go to community to create renewable energy development in the places where they're proposing to do fossil fuel development. And that's our mission for this year, to do that in America and then around the world. So please do support that. And that is something very tangible in terms of the way the government is changing the weather.
All right, another question. Yeah, sure.
Thank you, Josh, for showing the diversity of this worldwide movement. It's many times seen as just white hippies in this country. So thank you for showing that. My question, I'm from Occupy the Pipeline. My question is, all those nuclear power plants that we kept seeing, I don't think I ever heard that word in the film.
You know, it's interesting. He's asking about nuclear power plants. Those aren't nuclear power plants. Those are coal-fired power plants. You get the image in your head from The Simpsons of that cooling tower. You know, The Simpsons, by the way, which spoofed Gasland and had Bart lighting his water on fire. I don't know if you caught that one. But you get that image of nuclear, and that's actually coal. Those are coal. Those are coal factories, coal-fired power plants. The cooling towers are actually steam, but those huge smokestacks, which are ringing Salt Lake City, by the way. And here in Salt Lake City, or here in Utah, we're not in Salt Lake City, you have inversions where the air quality gets to be some of the worst in the country because of all that coal. And so those are coal plants. However, what worries me a lot is as sea levels rise, not just the fact that there are people there, but there are hundreds of thousands of toxic sites that ring our coastlines. That if we don't start to move them, they're going in the water, and that's going to toxify the oceans, including about a dozen nuclear power plants, which, by the way, take 20 to 30 years to decommission, because they're that hot, and they're that full of fissile and radioactive stuff. So if you're thinking about sea level rise in the near term, you better start to move that stuff now, which is part of the reason why, although we come out and we're going to fight and we want to win, we can't be Pollyannish about things that are pretty much a done deal. We're going to have to move a lot of stuff in order not to contaminate those bodies of water, which of course we depend upon. And many other such questions like that, right? Just start to imagine. So that's why we need to strengthen community. That's why we need to mobilize. And that's why I think we need to embrace a sense of civic values that these people embody so well. So can the next question be for Aria or some of the other folks here? Because they traveled and they actually beat the snowstorm. Thousands of community centers around, yes, thank you. So the point is, join Aria Doe and the Action Center. Show up as a part of that movement. Join that place that exists in your town, wherever it is, in your neighborhood, wherever it is, and join up and spend a few hours a week. I'm not gonna say, oh, just check this box or do this one thing. Well, actually, you should check the boxes in the programs that are there and hand them off if we want to get involved. You have a ready-made way to do that in your program, but don't look at that while I'm talking. But the idea, though, is it's not just a simple thing, actually, that's required. It's not a simple thing. It's a kind of complex thing. And it's a thing that requires time and sacrifice, and we need you to do it. Because when we were facing down the fracking wells, you know, people were missing their kids' Thursday night soccer games to show up at the fracking hearings and so on, and that's what it takes. That's what it takes to actually do this. It's not simply about being an audience or online. It's about showing up and being there in numbers. When the protests are called, you show up and you go to the community centers and the places you can volunteer. And we want to connect you with those, so please do fill out the cards. We can help you get renewable energy. We can help you connect to your local organizations. All of that is part of our mission and our tour.
All right, we have time for one more question. Yes, you, yes.
So in the film, I loved how people from Australia were also kayaking to support those islanders. It was the first thing that I saw where there was international sports between nations to help one another. Did you find any other relationships like that when you
Oh, everywhere, everywhere. In fact, one of the ambitions of this project is to make sure that the people from the film get to meet each other. And Mika